All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway 2 is finished. It only lasted about a minute and a half. Conor McGregor basically tearing his ACL on the first flying roundhouse kick that he throws. Misses by an absolute miles. Comes down on that right leg. You can see the knee pop. Look, I'm just speculating. I can't guarantee you that is an ACL. But unfortunately for us, Conor McGregor never went to the microphone to speak after the fight to, explain, apologize, say anything about the incident, but we are going to talk about the fight. Very disappointing. Look, lots of people are going to be absolutely fucking fuming online, and anybody that paid tickets to go to that fight, anybody like myself that paid to watch the fight online, you're going to be absolutely fuming. I'm more disappointed than anything, to be honest with you. I get so hyped when seeing Conor McGregor fight. I was so hyped for this. We were on live stream. We were having a fucking good time. We were ready to watch Conor McGregor throw down with Max Holloway. And the reason I'm not too fuming and it's more disappointment is the fact that it is a proper injury. Look, as long as it is a proper injury, it's going to stay as disappointment. The thing that got me most pissed off about the fight was the fact that he didn't go over to the microphone after the fight and speak, because I'm no expert. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you. I can't guarantee you. Like I said, I'm speculating that it's an ACL. That's what everybody was saying in and around the event, that it's an ACL. From what I've seen in sport, most of the time when somebody does an ACL, they are on the floor, agonizing pain, get stretchered away, cannot walk. He was standing, he was walking, he sat down, he walked himself out of the thing. That does put a lot of questions in my head. The fact that he was in that state, I'm a bit pissed off that he didn't at least go up to the microphone and say, guys, everybody, I apologize for everything that has happened. I have a ACL, I have torn my knee, I have done this, I couldn't continue. I'm going to the hospital now, I apologize again. That I would have loved to have heard from Conor, rather than just walking out, just leaving us in limbo, not knowing what the fuck has just happened. It does look like he got injured, but it's more disappointment for me than anything. It was such a hyped fight, man. I was so hyped to this fight. Like I said, he runs in, 10 seconds in, pretty cold, jumps, lands on his right leg. You can see the knee pop out. He goes straight onto the floor. Max Holloway jumps on top, starts ground and pounding. And then he lets him up. Pretty much Max Holloway lets him up. Conor McGregor gets to his feet, tries again, goes back down to the floor, gets back up again. Max Holloway's pointing at the referee saying he's injured. The referee steps in, waves off the contest. I can't tell. I think it must have been within 2 minutes of the first round, but it was within 30 seconds that the fight was over. So disappointing, not only for everybody that was watching it, but Max Holloway. This was his opportunity to, avenge a loss. Get a big name back on the rap sheet. Go and beat Conor McGregor. Get a lot of hype around him. Get a big payday. I'm sure he got a good payday anyway. But, just go back to winning ways. Get a good win against Conor McGregor, and he gets robbed of that opportunity. Obviously, he gets the win nonetheless, but not the way he wanted to do it. He put a lot of work in, changed weight classes, got ready to fight Conor McGregor, and doesn't get that opportunity. For Conor McGregor, 5 years out of the ring, questionable legs at 37 years of age, and you run out and throw something like that misses by an absolute mile. Why? Was that your game plan? Were you trying to hit him with your titanium leg? Were you trying to prove that you've still got it? Were you trying to prove that you're still that young, athletic guy? I don't know what the game plan was, but the fact that the kick missed by an absolute mile, you get injured. There was even footage that they were showing after the fight, when he was walking to the ring, that there's questionable of his, leg stability walking to the ring, when he's taking his shoes off, doing a bit of hobbling. And look, this is only speculation. Conor McGregor never came out and said anything. So it's only going to be speculation until we hear something from him or his team. But like I said, it is beyond disappointing. And you know what? You now couple this now up with cancelling on Michael Chandler, all the back and forth for the past 5 years. And you say, if Conor McGregor wants to return to the ring, do you let him? Do you build up an event like this? Do you let him be the main event? Because he's either going to pull out during the fight week, or the fight's just not going to go how you want it to go. And look, for Max Holloway, he was talking about, we're going to run it back, we're going to have this fight again. If I'm Max Holloway, I'd steer far away from the fight. You want to guarantee, you want to spend another 3 months in camp getting ready for a fight, get to that fight night, and not everything goes the way you want it to go. I think there's other opportunities out there for Max Holloway than Conor McGregor. Obviously, there's history there. He knows it's a big name. He knows it's a beatable opponent. He knows it's now an injured opponent. There's a lot of risk involved in having Conor McGregor be that star in the sport again. And after today, like I said, for me, it's more disappointment than it is anger. I know lots of people will be fucking fuming. People that have placed bets, people that went to the event, everything else around it. There's a lot of mystery. I'm somebody that, depending on the outcome, will depend on how I feel towards it. If he has done his ACL and we see him in surgery next week, then look, what do you want him to do? He tore his ACL. He can't fight on one leg. He's going to get himself seriously hurt. If it's like a sprain or something, if it's something that he could have continued, or he doesn't need surgery, or he, it turns out he just genuinely pulled out of the fight, he just wasn't feeling it and he's found an excuse out, then I'm absolutely 100% with every single one of you that is fucking fuming about how that fight went down. And I'm one of Conor McGregor's biggest fucking supporters, man. Look, there's not a lot to talk about the fight. I've basically covered it. It was 15 seconds. It was one big punch. I can't tell you that Max Holloway was looking great. It wasn't as though we went 3 minutes into the fight. It wasn't sort of Aspinall-Garn. That's another major disappointment of a fight, whereas you saw Aspinall versus Garn and you said, you know what, Garn was cooking him for that first round. Well, we didn't really get to see that. Max Holloway was cooking him, but Conor McGregor was hurt. So what do you want to take from that? Paddy Pimblett, let's go on to a positive. Paddy Pimblett, a minute into the very first round of the fight, and he does a Darce choke, submitting Benoit Saint-Denis out cold. 1 minute in, Benoit Saint-Denis, weird game plan, ran in, high kick, looked like it pushed Paddy Pimblett back a little bit, and then shoots for the takedown, something that Paddy Pimblett said all week. He's like, he's going to shoot, I'm going to put him into a submission, he's going to be out cold. And every single one of those things happened within the very first minute. Like, Benoit Saint-Denis shoots a takedown, doesn't get it in properly. You automatically see the choke being put in, that guillotine being put in from Paddy Pimblett. He gets him to the ground. He's on top. He gets the legs around the back, puts in that Darce choke very, very tightly, tells the referee he is out cold. The ref pulls him apart, and as you can see, Benoit Denis is out fucking cold. Other fights from today, Brandon Royval, probably fight of the night. Great fight, and gets the finish late in the fight. You know what else? Robert Whittaker, back to winning ways. A good win, new division. Didn't look great for the first round. Wins the second round by a mile, and then breaks the guy's jaw in the third round. So a great win from him. Gable Stevenson, not the greatest. I expected a bit more. Massive favorite. Massive raps. Heaps and heaps of hype. The next grade of the heavyweight division. And to be honest, I thought he looked okay. Ordinary. If you compare the hype to what he threw out, it was underwhelming. It was very underwhelming. It wasn't what I expected. Look, he still gets a round one victory. It's still a stoppage. It's just, he got hit quite a bit and he just didn't look like what we're being told he's supposed to be. So, weird night of fights, very weird night of fights. I jumped on live stream for the last two fights. I was busy this morning. I jumped on. I said, let's do the last two fights. Paddy Pimblett versus Saint-Denis. That's going to be a war. Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway. One of the fights that I've been looking forward to. Conor McGregor, by far my favorite fighter of all time. And we saw, 3 minutes collectively of fight time between the two main events. Look, Paddy Pimblett went in there, did what he had to do. Great victory, submitted the guy. And so I don't have any anger against Paddy Pimblett, don't get me wrong. I would have loved to have seen him go to war, but Paddy Pimblett's in there to do a job and he did it. Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway, though. I don't know what happened to Conor McGregor. I don't know why things went wrong. I don't know why he threw that kick. But it was disappointing. It was very, very disappointing. And I'm at a point where at 37 years of age, that was your last performance. You're just getting injured. You're not really trustworthy in people's eyes. If you're going to come back, you got to be co-main. All right. You can't trust Conor McGregor to have a main event, in my opinion, right now. You have to put him second on the bill. Guys, sorry this video isn't longer. There's not a whole lot to talk about. I will probably make another one where we find out what happens to Conor McGregor. At the moment, it is more disappointment than it is anger. But if Conor McGregor isn't injured, then this will very quickly turn to anger. Great work by Paddy Pimblett. I said I think Benoit Saint-Denis might be too much for Paddy Pimblett. But I think Paddy Pimblett, his stocks sort of went up after Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. You look at that fight and you say, if Justin Gaethje got slept by Ilia, all right, that loss to Justin looks terrible. But the fact that Justin went in there and beat Ilia Topuria and stopped him, and then you say, well, Paddy Pimblett went the distance with Justin Gaethje. I think you add a little bit more credit onto Paddy Pimblett going the distance with Justin Gaethje. You back that up with the fact that he's just beat the number 5 in Benoit Saint-Denis, a guy that was on an absolute tear. The way he did, fucking 1 minute into the first round. Yeah, I think we're all back on the Paddy the Baddy hype train. And I was actually saying in live stream that I said if Conor McGregor wins tonight, I want to see Paddy versus Conor McGregor. Obviously, that's not going to happen, nor do I want to see it happen. There's plenty of fights out there for Paddy. I'd love to see him up against Ilya Topuria still. I still think that's a great fight. And I would be every day of the week throwing my money at a rematch between him and Justin Gaethje. Guys, let me know what stood out for you on the fight card today. What do you make of Conor McGregor pulling out of that fight? What do you make of the whole entire event? Disappointing for me. That is the word. That is the word of the day. Disappointing. Like, subscribe. I'm out of here, guys. See ya.